which is a great introduction for our next speaker, because this is somebody that has been leading by his own good example. You know, originally a kid from the Midwest, grew up in a place where it was kind of cold, and actually from the Northeast. Grew up dealing with mountains and snowboarding, and you know what? Here's a guy that was looking for bigger mountains to climb. And as a young guy, he uprooted himself from his comfortable surroundings and moved to an area where he didn't really know anybody in search of glory with his straight job in the newspaper business, and that didn't necessarily work out so good. And he discovered as a young guy, living on his own, that he really wanted to expand his capabilities, to expand his horizons. When we talk about somebody that was looking for bigger mountains to climb and expand his horizons, I am not talking figuratively. This is a guy that literally likes it at the top of a mountain and likes snowboarding down at breakneck speed. This is a guy that literally looks for big mountains to climb. And he's done the same thing here with Numis. He is making his debut as a brand new instructor at Numis University. You know, at this particular Numis University, we've asked a number of people to give presentations that have never spoken here before. And this young guy has really earned it. I had an opportunity to hang out with him at an industry conference recently, and people look at him like a rock star. And we are very, very fortunate to have him with us. And you know, I'm struggling for additional words, but ladies and gentlemen, please give it up for Adam. Adam Chandler, you gonna use that? Oh, you got these.
Good morning. How you feeling? You know, it's funny, Chris yesterday was saying how he didn't want to go on after Irwin, you know, the whole tough act to follow kind of thing. So this is my first time presenting at a Numis U, and they put me on after Brad and Angelina. Wasn't she wonderful standing up here? So I'm going to be sharing insights on making the initial contact and basically exposing more people to this wonderful opportunity that we have here with Numis. But I want to preface this presentation by saying that the most important thing is that you begin and that you get into action mode. So I've got something that, you know, a big mistake that I see a lot of network marketers make is, you know, they don't take the action because they don't know the exact phrasing or the exact terminology or, you know, exactly how to handle certain objections. And, you know, we were, you know, many of us were at a marketing event in Las Vegas just a couple weeks ago, and Ray Higdon opened the event, and Jake Kevorkian was actually on stage introducing Ray, and he was talking about when Ray was first getting started. And he made the distinction. He said that ignorance on fire is better than knowledge on ice. So to me, that means that it's a lot more about your attitude than it is about the exact words that you say. So just remember that. So I've got an exercise that I feel if you're kind of feeling that you're kind of stuck in that, you know, worried about being perfect. I've got an exercise that I feel can really help you. Or if you're leading a team, that can help you get your team members into action. So everybody take out a blank piece of paper and a pen. And in all four corners of this blank piece of paper, you're going to put a star. So 4 stars in each corner of the sheet of paper. And while you're doing that, around the edges of the sheet of paper, you're going to draw a border. So draw a border around the stars. And this could be as artistic or as non-artistic as you'd like, right? Everybody get your border and your stars? So the next thing you're going to do, right in the very center of this piece of paper, you're going to write the number 2. So write the number 2 in the center of the piece of paper. Right underneath that, you're going to write 2 words. Make mistakes. So underneath number 2, 2 words, make mistakes. And then above the number 2, on the line above the number 2, you're going to write the word license. Okay? License. Like a license plate? License. Yeah. So now you can all go out into the field with confidence, not worrying about being perfect, because you now all have a license to make mistakes. Isn't that wonderful? Congratulations. So a little bit about me. 4-star director in Numis, been in for 2.5 years. I came from a corporate advertising background in the newspaper industry. I worked at a daily newspaper where I grew up in Burlington, Vermont for 3 years, and I wanted to experience change. I wanted to get out of my comfort zone, so I moved 2,000 miles across the country by myself to where I currently live in Colorado, and naturally looked for jobs in newspaper advertising. And when I first moved there, I actually lost 2 newspaper advertising positions in my first 6 months of moving to a completely new place. So it was kind of a scary time, but they say that when life shuts a door, it opens a window, and that's exactly what happened to me. In retrospect, it was one of the best things that ever happened to me, because that was when I discovered the network marketing industry, and it was in wealth creation. I know many of you with MLM backgrounds come from health and wellness, and I was never into any health and wellness companies. My background, 4 years in network marketing as an entrepreneur, has all been in financial education, wealth, and asset creation. In fact, I was at a wealth creation seminar in Las Vegas. It was a 4-day wealth creation seminar in Las Vegas. I paid just under $10,000 to attend. And there was speakers there from, experts in everything from investing in real estate to foreign currencies, like Chris was talking about yesterday. Michael Maloney was a speaker there. He wrote Rich Dad's Guide to Investing in Gold and Silver. I actually saw my first billionaire presenter. There was a billionaire on the stage. He was an oil billionaire, and he was talking about shale deposits in northern Australia. And to say that his presentation went over my head would be an understatement. It went like a mile over my head. But then there was actually presenters talking about numismatic coins and talking about sharing the benefits of owning numismatics as a great way to own physical precious metals. And that's why it seemed almost serendipitous when a few months later I was at a marketing event in Dallas, Texas, and I first learned about this MLM opportunity where the auto ship is numismatic coins. And it just made complete sense to me and what I was doing, I jumped right in, and that was January of 2010. And if you remember from Ray and Jess's presentation, that was when Ray started paying his bills. I'm the leader of what I appropriately call Team Legacy, and the number 1 Numis rep in the state of Colorado. So, thank you. So I just want to say thank you to Numis. Thank you, Chris, Jake, Ian, for this amazing opportunity. You see me here with a big part of as the majority of my personal collection. How many of you in here would have fewer assets in your life right now if it wasn't for being involved in this company? I mean, how cool is that? And some of you have heard me say this before. I'm big into metaphors and analogies. I see my personal collection as a representation and a metaphor for my expanding wealth. And I actually, I never owned a safe before I came into this company. I never had a reason to own a safe before I came into this company. And I was about 6 months into Numis when I was like, I better get a safe. So I want to talk about why I love the network marketing model. It's personal and professional development with a compensation plan. So the skills that we get here through this process, the sales skills, the leadership skills that we get here, could allow us to thrive in any entrepreneurial endeavor. I mean, look at Jake and Chris shared how they were started off as distributors and now gone on to be company owners. And not just that, not just do we get the opportunity to become more effective business leaders and entrepreneurs, but just more effective human beings. Better parents, better for those of us that are not parents, better role models, aunts, uncles, things like that. Profits are better than wages. I've experienced about a 500% income increase between 2009 and 2011, and that wouldn't have been possible if I wasn't in a profit model. Another thing, the average person can turn desires into riches. This is a biggie. The average person can turn desires into riches. Tim Sales at that same marketing event in Vegas a couple weeks ago, one of the biggest names in the MLM industry, was sharing how his number one producer of all time was when she came to him, she was a broke single mother who just had a burning desire to change her family's financial future, and that's what she did. That was really powerful to me. Not only, so I mentioned how I'm making substantially more money than I've ever made in my life, but also, I'm experiencing a level of freedom. I've over the last couple of years, I've traveled more. I've had more first-time experiences than I've ever had in my entire life, and I've experienced a level of freedom that I really didn't think would be possible until I was in my mid-60s and retired from some stupid corporate job. So, and just the other day, just the other week, myself and Jordan and Tom Murky, a couple of my team members, we went and visited the hospital because our other team member, Danielle Corrigan and Jeremy Howie, had a baby, and it was like a random Wednesday afternoon. We went there to meet the new baby, and I wouldn't have been able to do that, working my old job. I would have, where I had to, ask my boss for permission to sneeze or go to the bathroom, and we did that. And by the way, that baby was conceived 9 months ago at the Tampa event. So maybe 9 months from now we'll be meeting babies that were conceived at this event. Bill and Michelle. Ray and Jess. You get around big thinking people with vision, and this will rub off on you to get around the Chris Kents and the Jake Kevorkians and the Ray Higdons and the Dave Lovitz of the world. Get around people who think big and have vision, and then the potential to impact the lives of potentially millions of people, both directly and indirectly, through the ripple effect. Now, I want to share a story about the ripple effect. How many of you are familiar by a guy named Joseph Chamberlain? Probably not too many of you. Joseph Chamberlain was a school teacher from Maine who enlisted into the Union Army during the American Civil War, and he quickly rose to the rank of colonel, and he found himself in a very tight situation. He was given the job of defending Little Round Top, which was a vital position during the Battle of Gettysburg, and he found himself in a very tight position. He was given very strict orders that no matter what happened, do not lose this position. It was that vital to the success of the battle. And so he was told that no matter what happened, don't give up the position. He found himself outnumbered, outgunned, pinned down by the enemy when he gave the order to charge. And his men must have thought that he was crazy, marching them into what must have seemed to them like certain death. And something very interesting happened when they charged. The enemy put their weapons down and surrendered. And they must have thought that there was an entire battalion of Union troops charging behind them, because who would have been crazy enough to charge in with such a few number of men and resources? So if any of you are familiar with Civil War history, if you've studied Civil War history as I have, then you know that the Battle of Gettysburg was a turning point in the Civil War, and many Civil War historians believe that had the South won the Battle of Gettysburg, they could have easily gone on and won the entire war, right? So, and the reason why that's important, what would the United States look like today if the South had seceded from the Union? Many experts believe that it wouldn't just be the North and the South today, but that the United States and North America would look a lot more like Europe, because other parts of the country and the continent would have seceded and broke away from the Union. And if that was the case, there would not have been a single military superpower strong enough to stand up to Adolf Hitler and the Nazis over 80 years later during World War II. Now, so one school teacher from Maine was partially responsible. You could argue that one school teacher from Maine was partially responsible for the defeat of the Nazis 80 years later. And that's, so the point is that the decisions that you make today, you have no idea the implications of the decisions that you make today, and that your decision to act could, inspire others to act, and you could potentially touch the lives of millions of people. So who in here, one time or another, have been inspired by Ray Higdon? How many were inspired by Ray today? All right, and how many of you are going to go off and inspire other people based on that, right? Who are going to go on to inspire others, who are going to go on to inspire others. And that's what we have here. Now imagine at an event much like this, a couple years from now, someone's up here on stage saying those things about you and touching the lives of potentially millions. That's what we have here. That's the potential of what we have here. How cool is that? Thank you. So, principles for effective prospecting. Don't tell them anything until you can tell them everything. So, a lot of times when we're saying, hey, are you open and taking a look at something? We're exposing people, they're going to say, well, yeah, what is it? So one of the best ways that I know to deflect that and to, because people are going to try and get you to tell them what it is, but we know that the only way for somebody to get a really good idea of what Numis is by watching some type of professionally designed presentation, right? So if they say, yeah, what is it? Say, well, due to the magnitude of what I'm doing here, due to the magnitude of what we're doing here, I'd be doing this company a complete disservice by trying to give you a 30-second pitch over the telephone. I'll tell you what, I have a website with a 30-minute video on it. I'd be happy to email over to you. Or I have a 20-minute audio CD, which would be more convenient for you, okay? So don't tell them anything until you can tell them everything. It's not the words you say, it's the music that you play. So again, going back to the fact that it's more about your attitude than it is about the exact words and terminology. And then common sense goes a long way. So if I'm exposing somebody who I met at a networking event, I might compliment them first. I might say, I met you at this networking event, you had a great smile, I really loved your positive attitude, and then go into the exposure like that. But I'm not going to call my best friend or my brother and say, hey, we've been brothers for a long time, and I just think you have a great attitude. Because they're going to be like, what do you want? Okay, so I'm going to speed this up a little bit. Begin with the end in mind. Be in a hurry. So, don't have a ton of time right now. So be in a hurry. Answer a question with a question. So if you get into exposing somebody and they say, is this MLM? You can say, absolutely, this is MLM. I'm talking about the opportunity to make big money and have the free time to enjoy it. Where else could you get that other than MLM, right? Keep it simple. This is a business of duplication. So, you have to, keep it simple. You want what's going on in the prospect's mind. You want them to think that they can do the exact same thing to somebody tomorrow that you just did to them today. So you have to absolutely keep it simple. And then maintain control. Ray and Jess talked about posture. If a good way to know if you're losing control of the conversation, if you're the one asking questions and listening, you're the one leading the conversation. If you want to find out if you're losing the control, if the other person starts asking questions and you find yourself answering questions instead of asking questions, it's a good indicator that you're losing some of that control and that you need to take that control back by starting to ask questions and listen. Okay, so what do we get paid for in network marketing? We get paid for retailing and recruiting. This is a business of exposures. So if you expose a lot of people to this business, you make a lot of money. If you expose some people, you're going to make some money. How much money are you going to make if you expose 0 people? 0. All right, successes in the show. I remember Dave Lovett sharing at Numis University in Vegas. He's sharing how he exposed 100 people to his previous business before he got a sign up. 100 people. So, so what if he had stopped at 17 or 37 or 99 people, and he went on to make millions of dollars with that company and create a residual income over 2 decades in that business, and he exposed 100 people before he got his first sign up. That's powerful. That really stood out to me. And while I'm at it, I just want to shout out to Dave and Michelle Lovett, as well as Robert Brewer, Terry Scallon, and the leaders here in Sacramento. Thank you so much, you guys. You guys are awesome. And we get paid for collecting decisions. It doesn't matter if that decision is a yes or a no, so be happy about the no's. Be happy about the people that tell you no. We wouldn't want everybody to say yes, would we? We don't want everybody to be successful in network marketing. That would be horrible. If everybody was successful in network marketing, who would serve us margaritas at the Cinco de Mayo party later? Who would fly us to Cancun next month? Who here is excited about Cancun? All right, this is a biggie, you guys. I got to move quickly. This is a biggie. All we need is for some of the people to buy some of the time in order to create a residual income empire in this business. Okay, all we need is for some of the people to buy some of the time. All right, so talking about different categories of prospects in your warm market and how to approach them. The hearts, these are people that you would call if your car broke down on the side of the road at 2 a.m. This would be an approach for a heart. Hey, Sally, listen, it's Adam. I need a favor. I'm involved in a business that I'm really excited about. Can you take a look at it and maybe refer 1 or 2 people that you think may be able to run with me on this? Right? So another approach for a heart. Sally, this is Adam. How are you? The reason I'm calling you is this. I'm involved in a business that I believe can help a lot of people. It may or may not be a fit for you, but could I present it to you for practice before I start showing it to real people? Right? And that was actually an approach that Jordan Schultz used, one of the top producers on my team, and he used that with his warm market, and a couple things happened. One, he got 4 signups in his first week in the company, and then in number 2, he got really good at presenting the opportunity, and then when he expanded beyond his warm market and started presenting it to other people, he was a pro. He knew how to handle the objections, because of the fact that he used this approach with his warm market. So triangles, these are your acquaintances. These are the people that would probably hang up on you if you called them for a favor at 2 o'clock in the morning. So, hey, Steve, this is Adam. How are you? Listen, I know it's been a while since we've talked, and I would love to catch back up with you, but I'm pressed for time right now. Remember, be in a hurry. I'm pressed for time right now. The reason I'm calling you is this. I'm involved in a business that I'm expanding, looking for talented team leaders. Your name was one of the first names that came to mind. If the money were right and it could fit in your schedule, would you be open to something additional right now? So stars, this is the infamous chicken list, your stars. So these are the people that are more successful than you, right? Hey, Jim, this is Adam. How are you? Is this a good time to talk? Do you have a minute? Great. The reason I'm calling you is this. I know you as a very successful, we'll just use real estate just because it's easy. I know he's a very successful real estate person. I respect what you've done in your professional life. I'm involved in a business that I'm excited about. It may or may not be a fit for you, but could you take a look at it and give me your honest opinion? So the psychology here is you stroke their ego first, and then you're really just asking them for a favor. So it's a very non-threatening approach. And then another approach for a star. Hey, Jim, this is Adam. How are you? Is this a good time to talk? Do you have a minute? Great. The reason I'm calling you is this. I know you've been very successful in your real estate business. I'm expanding my business and looking for a few really sharp go-getters. It may or may not be a fit for you, but could you take a look at it, and if nothing else, maybe refer a couple people out of your contacts. So you're just asking for a referral. And then this would be how you would approach the referral. So let's say Jim refers Bob. Hey, Bob, this is Adam in Fort Collins. We don't know each other personally, but you were referred to me by Jim Douglas. Is this a good time to talk? Great. Jim said you were really sharp professionally, had some great things to say about you. My reason for calling you is this. I'm aggressively expanding my business both locally and nationally, and I'm looking for a few really sharp, profit-conscious people to help me run the sales and marketing. If I could show you a way to make more money and create more free time in your life, would you be at all open to investigating it? Okay, so cold leads, you're going to want to use the form, family, occupation, recreation, money, then just a couple examples of form questions. Are you single or are you married? Now, how many kids do you have? What's your main source of income right now? Do you have a job? I'm moving quickly through these. My time's almost up. What do you do for work? What do you like to do for fun? Find out what they do for, that's recreation. What do you like to do for fun? What do you like to do when you're not working? And then if they tell you something like, well, I like to play golf, and you say, well, you just told me a minute ago that you're working 6 days a week. I mean, does that interfere with playing golf? Because you might be opening, getting a hot button there. And then what type of income would you like to create from home? Let's say in the next 6 months. So then what? And I learned this from Ray. Ray talked about this earlier. Ask him why. What has you? I used to just go. If somebody said yes, I'm open. I'd be like, okay, here's the information. Now I'll just take a step back and say, well, what has you in a position where you're open to new income opportunities right now? Why are you open? So I asked that question to somebody at one time, and he said, I recently had to resign from my job because I was so stressed out by my job that I had a stroke. And I said, how old a guy are you? He said, I'm 32 years old. And I signed him up into Numis. So find the pain. So maybe when you ask them why they're open, maybe their kids are going to college, they're in a bad work situation, maybe they have no upline support in their current company, they're approaching retirement, and they're looking to create a better nest egg for retirement. And then where to send them? Well, send them to numisnetwork.com for the 10-minute video. I also use numispromotion.com, the awesome video that Ray's got on there. Numis4networkers.com. I've signed up a lot of network marketers through using this presentation, and that's, it's probably one of the best comp plan presentations that I've ever seen, so thank you, Ray. And, that is specific to network marketers. And then I also use the Garage Full of What CD and give them the option, like I said. So, I've got a 30-minute video on a website that I'd be happy to email over to you, or I've got a 20-minute audio CD that I could drop by your office or pop in the mail. Which would you prefer? And give them the either-or option. You guys, thank you so much. And I just want to say that I just believe so much in the mission of this company, and I look forward to building this thing with each and every one of you. So thank you.
Ladies and gentlemen, let's hear it for Adam Chandler.